I'm Dr. Marco Walder, award-winning educator and the owner and operator of We Own Tutoring and Education Consulting Services. In education today, test scores are more than just numbers. They're snapshots of how well students, teachers, and entire districts are performing. They tell us whether students are mastering grade level readiness and supporting standards, and they give us clues about where learning gaps and unfinished learning exist. Over the past 2 decades, national mathematics scores have experienced a notable decline, with some of the most significant decreases occurring in recent years. Following a historic low in 2022 for 9-year-olds, the average math score for 12th graders in 2024 reached its lowest point in 20 years, a considerable drop from 2019. Many factors like COVID-19 pandemic, increased screen time, and reduced deep reading have played a role. But one truth stands firm. If we want to fix math performance, the solution begins in elementary school. To truly elevate student achievement, the primary instructional focus must be directed towards grades pre-K through 4, the period where mathematical foundations are formed and conceptual understanding begins to take root. Throughout my career as an educator, administrator, curriculum implementation specialist, and math tutor, I have consistently observed a diminishing emphasis on foundational skill building and conceptual development. This neglect has resulted in a growing number of students advancing through the system without a secure understanding of core mathematical principles. During a recent school year, I provided instructional coaching to an elementary math team. One 3rd grade teacher introduced the concept of multiplication. While there were several positive aspects of the lesson, I also identified critical areas where instructional upgrades could strengthen student comprehension and engagement. After the lesson, I met with the teacher to provide feedback. Unfortunately, the teacher struggled to accept the suggestions and maintain that his current methods were sufficient. To illustrate the importance of foundational mastery, I invited him to observe an informal assessment. As 6th grade students passed by in the hallway, I asked several of them a simple question: what is 9 times 7? The results were disheartening. One student responded, "I don't know." Another answered, 48. Another said, 56. None provided the correct answer. I turned to the teacher and said, "This is why we must build students' foundational math skills. If we don't prioritize this now, we continue sending students forward unprepared." Still, the teacher replied, "I had a couple of those students. They should have known that." That moment became a turning point for reflection and action. It clarified how early instructional gaps, if left unaddressed, grow into persistent academic struggles. It also reaffirmed that effective teaching begins with ensuring students can both perform and understand foundational mathematics. To rebuild math from the ground up, we need to focus on what I call the Power 5. 5 essential skills that every elementary student must master before entering 5th grade. 1. Place value in number sense. 2. Addition. 3. Subtraction. 4. Multiplication. And 5. Division. When students master these 5 skills both procedurally, knowing how to perform them, and conceptually, understanding why they work, they are better equipped to engage with higher level mathematics and apply their knowledge in meaningful ways. This balanced approach supports rigor, which can be defined as the equal integration of conceptual understanding, procedural fluency, and application. The Power 5 fosters this rigor by connecting skills across grade levels, ensuring that students develop both accuracy and depth of understanding. Place value in number sense. The foundation of understanding place value is the backbone of our number system. It teaches that a digit's position determines its value, such as 2 and 25 representing 2 tens or 20. Without this understanding, students cannot accurately read, write, or compare numbers. Number sense complements place value by helping students grasp numerical relationships and patterns. A student who can count forward and backwards, beginning at any number, demonstrates a strong sense of how numbers connect. In grades pre-K through kindergarten, students learn to operate within the base 10 system. Composing, combining smaller numbers to make a larger number, and decomposing, breaking a larger number into smaller parts, groups of 10. These skills are essential precursors to addition and subtraction. When students develop a robust understanding of place value and number sense, they gain the confidence and flexibility to approach all other mathematical operations with ease. Once students understand place value and number relationships, they are ready to move into addition and subtraction, the first operation they encounter regularly. Addition teaches how to combine quantities. How many apples do we have in total? Subtraction teaches how to find what is missing or left over. If I give 2 away, how many are left? These skills help students make sense of real-world scenarios like money, time, and measurement. Even more importantly, addition and subtraction are the bridge to multiplication and division. When a student understands 5 more than 1 equals 6, or 4 less than 9 equals 5, they're building the same reasoning that supports higher level operations. By the end of 2nd grade, students should be fluent in these operations and capable of explaining the reasoning behind their methods, demonstrating both procedural proficiency and conceptual clarity, knowing not just how to calculate, but also why their strategies work. The final 2 Power 5 skills, multiplication and division, expand students' mathematical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Multiplication is simply repeated addition. 4 times 6 equals 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 24. Division is repeated subtraction. 24 divided by 6 equals 4, because 24 minus 6 minus 6 minus 6 minus 6 equals 0. These operations go hand in hand. Multiplication builds from addition, while division connects subtraction. Students who master and develop fluency in both can transition smoothly to concepts such as fractions, ratios, and algebraic reasoning. By the end of 4th grade, students should be able to perform these operations accurately, explain their relationships, and how the 2 operations are connected. The Power 5 aren't just academic benchmarks, they're life skills. They teach students how to think logically, reason quantitatively, and solve problems in everyday life. But understanding math isn't just about knowing what to do, it's about knowing why. Many students can perform a procedure, but when asked to explain their reasoning, they freeze. Encouraging them to express their reasoning cultivates independence, confidence, and metacognitive awareness. True mastery happens when a student can teach back what they know and catch their own mistakes. That's what conceptual understanding looks like, and that's what leads to long-term success. This foundation becomes essential as students progress. 5th graders, for example, build on the Power 5 when they perform multi-digit operations and work with fractions and decimals. Even advanced concepts, such as the Pythagorean theorem in middle school, depend on these same foundational skills. In the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Students must understand squaring as multiplication, knowing that 3 times 3 plus 4 times 4 equals 9 plus 16, which is 25. This leads to c equals 5 because 5 squared is 25. Without a grasp of multiplication and addition, this conceptual link would be lost. That's the Power 5 in action years later. Creating and sustaining strong foundational understanding requires intentional planning, assessment, and collaboration. 1. Early assessment and intervention. Begin each year by identifying unfinished learning from prior grades. Use this data to design targeted interventions that strengthen foundational skills while continuing grade level instruction. 2. dedicated intervention and fluency practice. Incorporate daily intervention periods, fluency activities, and supplemental instruction tools to reinforce Power 5 competencies. 3. Vertical planning. Foster purposeful communication between grade levels. Each teacher should understand which skills students must bring forward and which will be built upon in the next grade. 4. Instructional precision. Use exemplars to clarify expectations, high potential misconceptions, and establish criteria for success. Exemplars guide instructional decisions and ensure consistency in teaching and learning. 5. Content-specific strategy development. Avoid the one-size-fits-all approach to instruction. Mathematics requires a unique focus on cumulative skill building where mastery or prior content directly determines future success. Mastering the Power 5 skills, place value and number sense, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division empowers students to succeed not only in math but in life. It also inspires students to approach mathematics with confidence and curiosity. These core skills are not merely academic milestones, they are structural beams supporting all higher level learning. Just as a sturdy building relies on a solid foundation, mathematical success relies on mastery of the Power 5 skills. As educators and leaders, we must remember that doing more isn't always doing better. Sometimes the most powerful change comes from returning to the basics and doing them with excellence. Lasting improvement comes from focusing on what matters most and ensuring every student develops a strong mathematical foundation early on. Every accomplished learner, whether in mathematics or any other field, began by mastering foundational skills. It is essential that every child is provided with the opportunity to build this strong foundation, ensuring they have the tools necessary for future success. By prioritizing these core competencies early on, we can give each student the chance to thrive and grow in their academic journey. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and for more information on We Own Tutoring and Education Consulting Services, please visit www.marcowalder.com.